Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dears. In this lecture we will be discussing a topic of literary stylistics, which is linguistic description. You can also call it linguistic analysis. And in Wiedeson book, Stylistics and the Teaching of Literature, it is the second chapter, Literature as Text. Let's start. Literature has attracted the attention of the linguist for two very obvious reasons. Now, when you look at literary language, being a linguist, you take interest because of two reasons. One, the obvious reason is that literature is written in language, and the job of a linguist is to analyze the language. It is one reason that linguist focuses on literary language or literature because of the language used in literature. There is another reason. The reason is sometimes literary language is deviated from the grammatical rules. Sometimes the literary writers, they use language which is not according to the rules of grammar. But still, this ungrammatical language use does communicate to the reader. This point is another reason that attracts the attention of linguists. We will be looking at the first reason, how language of literature can be analyzed linguistically, or how we can linguistically describe a literary piece. There is a poem, Leda and the Swan, which is written by Yeats. Halliday has analyzed this poem linguistically. There are different nominal and verbal groups. Leda and the Swan is the title of the poem. Look at a sudden blow, the great wings beating still. Above the struggling girls, the thighs. By the dark webs, her nape caught in his bell. He holds her helpless breast upon his breast. Now, Halliday observes definite article, the. In English functions in number of ways and can be distinguished in grammar accordingly. In the first place, we can say that the can be a modifier if it is used before the noun, and it can be a qualifier if it is used after the noun which has already been modified. For example, the boy in the class. We can say the for the boy is modifier, but the boy in the class, the class, the for class is modifier, but for the boy it is another modification. Which boy? That boy, the boy. Then which boy? The boy in the class, second modification. So the second article, the for the boy is qualifier, and the first with the boy, before the boy, it is modifier. Then in general, its function is to signal that nominal group in which it appears constitutes specific reference. This reference is of three kinds. Either the use of article the in terms of references, it can be either cataphoric or anaphoric or homophoric. What is cataphoric reference? It may include group of words, adjectives in the form of modifiers which come before a noun and qualifiers which come after a head word. For example, the white goddess in the temple. Look at the white goddess. In this phrase, the and white both are modifiers. They have been used before the noun goddess. Now, the second, in the temple, it is qualifier, because here it is used after the noun for the same noun which has already been modified. Article in this sentence specifies a goddess, a type of goddess, which is white and which is in the temple. Anaphoric, the or anaphoric reference is, it is a reference of already mentioned head noun or phrase in the same paragraph. For example, the goddess was figure of mystery. Now it refers to the previous goddess in the poem or Leda to the title of the poem. We can say it is, in simple words, when you use a noun in a paragraph. Shakespeare has written many plays, and then you use pronoun for that person. Shakespeare, he. This he is anaphoric reference for Shakespeare. Now, homophoric when head words explain themselves and when they do not need any reference, they are called homophoric reference. For example, the sun, the moon, the president, etc. neither needs anaphoric references nor cataphoric references. They are self-explanatory. If a nominal group has either a modifier or qualifier, then the group fall into the category of cataphoric reference. But if not having either anaphoric or homophoric reference. The first criteria for this linguistic analysis is to do with linguistics, form, and the communicative function that forms perform. For example, a noun is a form. What type of function it performs when it is used in communication. So form and function. The relationship between them is considerably important. In Leda and the Swan, there are 22 nominal groups, or you can say phrases in simple words, and 10 contain definite articles with modifier or qualifier. This is a simple text analysis of the poem. Those 10 groups must be counted as cataphoric nominal groups because of having modifier and qualifiers in the form of THE, but they do not operate functional criteria of a cataphoric reference. For example, look, they seem to be cataphoric, but they are not because their functions are different. The great wings, for example, it seems that it is cataphoric because THE and great, they are used as modifiers, but their function is different. Look at the other one, the beat and beating still, and look at the other one, the dark webs. In forms, they are all cataphoric references, but wings are not identified as kinds of wings which are great and beating, and nor the webs that are dark. So respect to their function, they are either anaphoric or homophoric. How anaphoric? Let's see. So the dark webs and the great wings and staggering girls are identified as anaphoric reference to the title of the poems. We can say the dark webs can be related to Swan, the great wings can be a reference to the Swan of the title, in the title, and the staggering girl can be referred back to the Leda, the title of the poem. So these references, dark webs, great wings, as bodily parts, are anaphoric reference to the Swan, and staggering girls identified plus human plus female to the Leda to the title of the poem is anaphoric reference. Sometimes cataphoric reference functions is deictic reference. Anything that needs physical context for its understanding is deictic. In this poem, there is a possibility that Yeats is pointing out towards a picture, painting, or the imagined vision in his mind. How? This view can be supported when he uses the thighs. Instead of saying her thighs or his thighs, in that case, we would easily understand whether the thighs refer to Leda or the Swan. But the thighs, we do not know whether it is her thighs or his thighs. It is same like in guidebooks when there are no buildings in front, but their didactic references are used in the book. This building and that building is used, and this building has been built by this person. So you are not looking at it, but still these use of didactic references are there in guidebooks. On the other hand, burning wall can be interpreted as homophoric reference to the historical event of the War of Troy. The first use of definite article in the nominal group, the thighs carried by the dark webs. This follows the group staggering girl, which can relate to the title, but since the later group established the link with Leda identifying her as a girl, but the use of the thighs instead of her thighs shows the poet is referring to a specific thigh in a picture or painting, or he is looking at a vision in his mind. Second observation concerned the nominal group, these terrified vague fingers. Here the determiner is adjective. These fingers refer to which fingers? Either Leda's fingers or Swan's fingers. It is again dialectic. If it is assumed that Yeats was looking at a picture painting of the Battle of Troy while composing this poem, this assumption is based on linguistic evidences and it is linguistic description of the poem. But this is one of the interpretation obtained according to the laws of linguistics. No one is fully sure that it was looking at a picture. Now this is how we linguistically analyze the text or the literary language of the poem, and this is why linguists take interest in literature. Thank you so much.